Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer card game Kickstarter review. This game is made by John Olson and it is published by Doomsday Robots. It's a card drafting micro game that involves set collection and strategic card placement. The game is called Bridges to Nowhere, and rightly so, because in the game you and your opponent are both constructing bridges to nowhere. Alright, so what are we waiting for? Let's start constructing. Okay, now to set up the game. Simply move the rules aside, place the small bridge cards over here, and the pillar cards can go to each player. Then, if this is your first game, you want to go ahead and take these cards away, but if it's not, you can play with them. For this instance, we're going to take them away. So now the only things on the table you should have are the small bridge cards and the pillar card decks. Each player is going to get a set of 6 pillar cards, and they're going to be both the same type of decks for each player. After you place these guys in front of each player, you're going to go ahead and take 6 cards from the top of the small pillar deck and place them in a row so that all players can see them. Then the drafting begins. Okay, so here we have the small bridge deck and all 6 small bridge cards laid out. Now there's different types of bridges in the game, and in fact you can see them right here. Each bridge card has a number at the bottom of them representing its point value, as well as a symbol in the left and the right hand side. If you're able to match up symbols throughout the game, you're going to get bonus points at the end, as well as getting bonus points for each and every single bridge part that is attached to 2 pillars. Each player in turn order is going to go ahead and take one of these small bridge cards. To determine who goes first, it's a simple coin flip. So if this player were to go first, he would take a card, and then this player would take a card, and this player, and so on and so forth. Once both players have drafted the 3 cards each, they'll then begin to construct their bridges. Now there's 3 types of bridges. You've got truss, suspension, and cable, and you have one type on each the left and right hand side of these pillar cards. Simply place any of these cards that you so choose onto the table and attach the small bridge portions to them. If you can't or don't want to, you discard those small cards. However, if you do, that would be a locked-in bridge card and you can no longer move it after placement, and those little pieces stay there. Alright guys, so now we're on round 2. And what happens first is obviously these cards are going to be placed out, so that way you can see what's coming next before you go ahead and start constructing your bridge. Each player is going to pick at least one pillar and set it down, and then start placing their small bridge pieces on that pillar. Now the pieces have to match. As you can see here, both of these match, and so do these. But there's something really interesting if you notice. This actually has 2 pillars on top of it, while this one is only one single bridge. Let's talk about that. So as you see, this player has actually constructed a bridge that is 2 stories high using 2 pillar pieces. In the game, you can actually make it 3 stories if you'd like to. However, you have to also make sure that there is a connection piece for every single thing throughout the game. This would be a good example of a valid 3-story bridge tower. However, on this side, if the game was to be over, these would break off because they're not attaching. Just as much as also, if perhaps it looked like this, then this would all break off as well. It starts from the bottom and moves into the top. Also, for each story, you get an additional ×1 points. So for instance, this would be ×1, ×2, and ×3 for all the total points on the bridge. Other than bridge placement, there's also a very important thing you need to note when building your bridge. Your small bridge cards have to either go in ascending order, descending order, or both. Bridges can't go up and then down and then up again. They can only go all the way up, all the way down, or all the way up and down. That sounds confusing? I'll show you. Okay, so here we have 4 different examples of 4 different bridges. Now 2 of them are right and 2 of them are wrong. I'll go ahead and show you the wrong ones. This one over here is definitely wrong. It goes 1, 3, 2, 3. So that means it goes up and then down and then up. That doesn't work. This one's also wrong. 1 and 1. They're matching, and whenever anything matches with the small bridge tiles, they do not work as well. Also, we have 3, 5, 3, 2. So it goes up and then it goes down. That's okay. And finally, we have 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1, ascending or descending. This one's good too. Players will continue drafting cards for the entire 4 rounds of the game. After all the cards have been drafted out, and players have either made single, triple, or even double story towers, Then you add up the points. Let's go ahead and check out scoring. Okay, let's take a look at a single player's scoring for the end of the game. First of all, let's go ahead and get rid of all the cards they didn't use. Then we'll begin tallying the points. Like I said, each one of these points counts towards the total at the end, so 3 and 5 is 8. However, because it's a second story tower, that makes it 16. As well as this 5 here, increasing it to 21 because of the matching pair of symbols. You add up these 8 points and these 3, as well as the extra 5 points bonus, and then you're going to get 37 points for the single player. The other player will do the same, and the person with the most points wins. So that basically concludes how to score in the game. However, there was one thing I forgot to mention, and that's these contract cards. Now, after you've played your first game, you definitely want to get more advanced, and this helps you do that. Basically, you take one of these cards and flip it over, and use it as a potential bonus points you can obtain at the end of the game. For instance, this one says any bridge length of 5 or 6, so if you construct any bridge with a length of 5 or 6 small bridge pieces, you can get 10 or 20 bonus points. Or, for instance, this one says 2-level bridge, length of 3 or 4. So if you construct a second story, a second tower, and make that sure that bridge has 3 or 4 pieces, you can obtain 10 or 20 points. Now, players who win the round will be able to take one of those cards and consider it a victory token, and they can play best of 2 or 3. And that's basically how you play Bridges to Nowhere, made by Doomsday Robots. Let's go ahead and see what I think about it. Alright, so believe it or not, Bridges to Nowhere is my favorite micro game I've played yet. It is simply amazing. Generally, I don't even like 2-player games because I'm more of a social player, but this just works in every single way for me. The art is so simplistic yet beautiful that every single time I'm constructing these bridges, it just reminds me of constructing kind of a painting, which is so weird because there's only like 40 cards in the game. There's so much strategy and skill, and every single time you play the game, you're going to get better and better, along with all of your opponents. The only thing I could possibly say is that if a seasoned player played against somebody who is newer, that seasoned player is going to win, because you're going to get an idea of all the different cards and how they play out. But because you're drafting, it's always going to be a different game, and with those extra little construction cards, those little blueprint cards, they are going to just make the game even more replayable. The quality of the game is great. I mean, they're cards, so, you know, if you like card games, you're going to like this game. Overall, Bridges to Nowhere is simply wonderful. If I were to give it a score out of 1 through 10, based on it being a 2-player micro game, it would be a 10 all around. I've yet to see a game I've liked this much since maybe Welcome to the Dungeon. That would be my comparison to this game. That's how much I've enjoyed this. They're completely different games, however, and this one is complete strategy, and you're thinking, and do you want to take certain bridges from other people? Do you want to give them their bonus so that you can get your bonus? Or how far do you want to build your bridge? And maybe you're being so strategic you forget one little thing and it ruins the entire bridge for you. But it just works so well, and you go, oh, now I know how to do it better next time. Bridges to Nowhere by Doomsday Robots is simply amazing. Thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and check out our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. Also, we have additional content on our website, unfilteredgamer.com, as well as giveaways, one for Cowetin, that's currently on Kickstarter, and another for The Refuge. Also, if you like giveaways and even more blog post type comments, you can check out our other 2 sponsored websites that are everythingboardgames.com as well as thegiveawaygeek.com. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.